I think it's time I finally give an answer to these AI allegations I keep getting all over TikTok and Instagram. There's been quite a bit of accusations being thrown around lately, and for understandable reasons. I've become just as skeptical as you guys, trust me. I understand the feeling of looking at an art piece and going like, hold on, is this person just using AI? It's crazy that some years ago, this wasn't even a question that would pop into our heads. It used to be like, did this person trace or copy someone's art? That would be our biggest issue. But now, I'd beg people to do that instead over AI. At least tracing and copying are methods of real learning, whereas AI isn't. Anyway, back to the AI allegations at hand. This blade piece comes under scrutiny, and I get it. This face sure looks a lot like those AI dudes out there. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. Of course this was AI generated. After all, who could draw this beautifully without AI? In fact, I have video proof of my AI generation process. Let me take you through it so that you can all learn how to generate beautiful AI art like this one.
The fans.
As you can see, the AI has started generating already. I'm not going to share my prompt because I worked really hard to write my prompt and that takes a lot of skill, so obviously I'm not just going to share that. My chosen AI gen software, as you can see, is Photoshop. The reason why AI is so important is because it makes art accessible to just about anyone. I mean, to start drawing, you literally need a paper and a pencil, and that is literally so expensive. For AI generation, all you need is an expensive device that can run these softwares that require some strong power plant somewhere in the world. That is literally so accessible, guys. It's not like people literally draw with their feet even if they don't have arms. True story, by the way. Okay, anyway, I'm done now. I'll actually explain my thought process as I was making this. You may have noticed this started off looking nothing like the end product. To be honest, I had no plans to draw Blade. I was just bored and started painting randomly and loosely from a reference. This is something I do kinda often. I uploaded this short a while back where I used the same approach. It's not the easiest approach because it means that if you make errors early in the painting, you'll have to fix them later, which is much harder than simply making sure your first sketch is correct, at least proportionally. But to be honest, that's so boring, so I tend to stick to this process a lot more, although I wouldn't really recommend it. I also turn my canvas black and white a lot to keep an eye on my values as I paint, and also flip my canvas constantly to keep getting a fresh outlook on my piece. Another thing to note is that especially in the starting stages, you'll notice that I don't ever paint super zoomed in, focusing on the bigger picture and painting zoomed out. That is something a lot of beginners tend to ignore, but it's really important. I also don't really appreciate how good artists will share their speed paints and explain their process, and it just all seems like it comes so naturally to them and they're doing it so effortlessly. That's why on my channel, I want to share my struggle in every process. I'm gonna be honest, working on this drawing was anything but easy, even though it's just a portrait. I almost gave up so many times and questioned whether drawing is even for me. My paintings at the start never look skillful or good, so I always wonder if I'm hiding my lack of knowledge on the fundamentals by all my rendering. I don't think these kind of thoughts ever end, even if you become relatively good. Some people may look at my art and assume that I know what I'm doing and that I don't struggle as much as them. To be honest, art is always a struggle, but I think I've learned that struggle itself isn't a measure that you are bad. It's a measure that you are trying very hard to make something good, and that's actually amazing. It's about time we started to judge ourselves based on the effort and struggle we put into something over the end products. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been inspired by new or beginner artists because I see them trying so hard to learn and get better, much more than me, to be honest. I look up to beginners much more than I look up to art gods. I think we can learn something new from anyone. Back to the speed paint at hand, there were many times throughout the process you may have seen the picture just look straight up ugly, but I don't know why, I just kept coming back to work on it anyway. Call it resilience, I guess? Or maybe that makes me a masochist, I don't know. But the point is, this is all made by my own hand, and even if the style isn't particularly original, I can feel pride at this knowing I worked hard and actually used my own human brain to make this. Many people's excuse is that AI works in the same way as a human brain. They say, if AI can do it better than you, you are not a good enough artist. Okay, and AI also has the power of over 1,000 brains, while I myself am only one brain. Was this world made for humans or machines. Of course I cannot compete with the machine. The only reason why this machine would ever be good is in a world where only the end product matters, where deadlines and a large turnover of work is required, something beyond human capacity. And people think this AI will help us create more in less time. But has anyone ever asked, do we need more? Where the hell are we headed? What has this world become? Why are we demanding so much? And the answer is simple: to make the rich richer. So artists, go make your silly little doodles and don't worry about if AI can do it better. Because yes, it can, but that's not the point. Drawing is exercise for the brain, it's connection for humans, and a celebration of what humans can do when we train hard at something. That's why we enjoy watching athletes and esports players versing each other rather than bots. And that brings us to the end of this YapFest. The blade has also just about finished generating. Wow, this AI is so good. Which one is it? Oh, it's Masamune Inc.